there, Lit Lotus community. This is Melinda Van Kirk. I'm so excited to bring you a new episode of the Lit Lotus podcast. If you've never joined before, this is the podcast for caretakers, for healers, for spiritual beings who are seeking more holistic health alternatives for both mind, body, and spiritual well-being. I'm a spiritual and holistic lifestyle and health coach, and I lead transformational journeys to help you find better health and wellness through self-love, self-care, and simple habit evolution, all following the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda and yoga. I lead a group community as well as offer one-on-one sessions. If you'd like to know a little bit more about me, please head over on to my website, litlotus.me, M-E. And you can see all my offerings there, as well as, of course, join me weekly on Insight Timer for some live yoga sessions and all the fun things. So let's move on and get straight to our episode today. Today, we are talking about the key to optimal health. So we speak a lot about different things on this podcast: mindset shift, easy habit changes, architecting your environment, all these different things to help you. And the more I dig in and I provide this information, the more I start to realize there's really one basic underlying principle to all of this. And the key for your optimal health, and I don't just mean physical health, but mental, your total well-being, mind, body, spirit, is through being selfish. Now, before you scour or make a face or say, what is she talking about? Let me explain what that means. Selfish is not a bad thing. Selfish is about taking care of yourself. And the key to finding that easeful flow of life is to prioritize your self-care before anything else. And I mean before anything else. So that requires setting boundaries. It requires digging in and doing some of the shadow work, some of the things that maybe you aren't recognizing in your life or from your past. And this all comes from your internal self. This does not come from anything outside of you. This is not about, I want to do self-care, so I'm going to go shopping and go to lunch. And yes, those are nice things, and those things can help you. But at the end of the day, it's not about all the external things. It's about taking care of yourself on the inside. And I've spoken about this many times about raising our vibration. And so when you are thinking about self-care, I really want you to think about how your self-care can help you raise your vibration. Now, if you're going out and spending a whole lot of money and eating this extravagant meal and say, oh, I'm doing self-care, I want you to assess how you feel afterwards. Because I feel like, maybe you have that in your, within the structure of your life where you have extra money to spend, or you can afford a nice meal because you haven't done that in a long time. So that might be great, and you might feel amazing afterwards. Or you might do this big, lavish, extravagant spa day or something, and then after the fact, you start to feel really bad because you're like, wow, that was money I was supposed to spend on my groceries this week. Or I feel really kind of sick to my stomach because I ate really not healthy foods, and now I feel worse in my body. So you need to sort of, take a bit of a step back and look at what your life is like in terms of how this is going to make you feel. And is this going to raise you up to a higher vibration? And how is this bit of self-care really helping you? And so just thinking about those opportunities as they come up, and think about how you can start to shift your mindset and shift it into one of self-care. So let me explain a little bit. I think we often only think of those things as self-care, as like getting a massage, getting our nails done. Those are all lovely, wonderful things. But self-care is also something along the lines of stopping and meditating in the morning, or doing 10 minutes of movement in the morning, or just walking outside and taking in the sunlight in your eyes and taking a deep breath in the morning and have a deep breath out and letting it go and taking those moments of stillness. That is all self-care. And it's all these little things that are shifting you into this higher vibration so you can become the best version of you. And this is how you find your dharmic path. A lot of times people are like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. There's a path for me in my life that I know is different, but I don't know what that is. And the first step to figuring that out is to just become present and start to raise your vibration throughout your day, all day long. And it doesn't have to take much. It can just be as simple as setting an intention as you make your way into the next action or next step of your day. Because nothing is more important in your life than feeling good. Feeling good in your spirit and your soul. And I don't mean feeling good as like extravagant and luxurious and hedonistic and all those types of things. You know, we have this very much societal connection to being selfish is a negative thing. It's wrong. You shouldn't be greedy. And that's a very different thing. So being selfish and being greedy are very different things. Being selfish is just saying, look, I am the most important person in my life, and I can't take care of anybody else or anything else without taking care of myself first. And nor does somebody want you to take care of them if you're coming with this negative attitude, right? If your child wants you to play with them and you start to like grump around and like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, and all right, I'll play with you. And then you sit down. I mean, how fun is that for the kid, right? How fun is that for this child? And that's not fun for you either. So, you know, in those moments of like, okay, I'll play with you, but let me just take a moment here to breathe before I sit down, or let me ask myself what really lights up my soul. And it's probably playing with your child lights up your soul, right? But so often we come to this as like, I have too many other things to do. I can't do that right now. And so really becoming selfish is learning to prioritize what's important to you. It's learning to tune into what is making you feel better in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. And then it's restructuring your life in a way where these things become your priority. You're setting your boundaries. There's no people pleasing in all of this. It's about setting your boundaries and stepping into your best self first. All right. So I know that's sort of a lot to digest in that little bit, but I want you to think about that. Next time you're maybe not feeling the highest vibration, and just ask yourself what you can do to shift into that. And remember that feeling good is the most important thing you can do for yourself. Feeling good in your soul and your spirit and your heart, feeling that love, that gratitude, that expansiveness is what's important here. And if we look at life, there really is only expansion and contraction. So there's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. And I know that's probably a lot for some people to digest and say, what is she talking about? But there's not, because we're all coming from our own personal perspective, right? So what's good for me might not be good for somebody else. So there's no clear-cut definitive, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. There's only expansion and contraction. So every time you do something in your life, you got to find out, is this making me feel expansive, or am I feeling contracted? And I often hear from people, and I've experienced this myself for sure, going into a job that you don't love and having that every time you walk into the office, you feel that automatic contraction. It's almost like a weight or cloak that's heavy on your shoulders, and you just want to take it off, but you feel like you're stuck in this space of, I can't get it off. I don't have the means to just quit my job. And so you have to start figuring out, well, how can I feel expansive in this moment? So knowing my situation as it is, and yes, you can change it. You can throw out everything and just take a big risk, but that's a really scary thing to do. And often when we do those things, you might feel that expansion for a short period of time and then massive contraction afterwards, right? So what's easier for most of us is to make the small, slow transitions. So whether that's restructuring some boundaries in your work so you do feel expansive, or is it maybe you're able to shift to part-time, or maybe you're talking to your boss and letting him know, I can't work these extra hours anymore. And if that doesn't work out for the company, then that's the choice. You look for something else, or you choose to leave that position, or whatever it is, or you just tell them, this is what I'm available for, and I'm not going to do any more than that. And that's really, really challenging to do. I get that. So we all come from a different space and we're all in a different situation, right? So only you know what's going to make you feel expansive and open and light. So let me give you an example. I was mentioning my last job. I worked this corporate retail job for 10 years, nearly 10 years, and I was at my wit's end and I was just hanging on for the paycheck, and people were getting laid off round after round after round. And my team, at first we got bought out by another company and then the layoffs started. And so my team, which was not that large, was maybe like 6 to 8 people, I'd say. Before we got sold off, it started to dwindle, right? People started to leave once the company got sold off, and then we moved office spaces. And at the end, right up to the last few months, we were down to 3, and then it was just 2 of us the last couple months. And we were just making it work as best we could. And we did set a lot of boundaries, but the environment was so terribly toxic, so toxic. You could just feel like at any moment you were going to be laid off, or the person that worked next to you was going to be laid off. And it had gotten to the point where we weren't even able to work with vendors because the company that bought us hadn't paid them, and there was this whole legal situation going on. And it's hard to feel expansive in those moments, right? So then you really have to make a choice. If I'm going to choose to come to this job every day, what is going to make me feel more expansive? And you have to ask yourself. So as I walked into work, I really didn't have a solution at that time because I wasn't in this journey where I'm at now. And I didn't ever think about it like that. But was there something I could have done to make me feel more expansive? If I could have raised my own vibration, could I possibly raise the vibration of those people around me and changed our dynamic in the office? Could I put on some music? Could I have done something silly? Yes, I did have some decorations, but maybe we could have put streamers up one day. Maybe I would ask to go sit somewhere else and just take my laptop and go work in another space, so I could just have a different surrounding and environment. And so there was things I could have done, and I could have set those boundaries, and I could have said to my boss, hey, I actually work better. Can I go over to the coffee shop for a couple hours? And actually we had Starbucks within a very short distance of our office. So, maybe I could have just taken my laptop and say, I'm going to go down here and work for a couple hours and just get out of this space. And, take a short walk while I go and get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and then sit down for a little bit and stretch and move and do the things that I know are going to make me feel more expansive. Go outside and breathe some fresh air for a few minutes, right? Instead of feeling this horrible contraction and like I had no choice in life and I wanted the paycheck, but I was so miserable. And just finding those moments of what can I do to shift my gears, and what can I do to create this beautiful life? This beautiful vibration is what creates this life. And when you're not sure of your path and you're stuck in these ideas of, I'm stuck, I don't know where to go, you probably need to create some space around you. You definitely need to create some space because you're in this state of overwhelm. So you need to move your emotional set point up from overwhelm to maybe one of optimism, and then move up from optimism to one of gratitude, one of love. And you keep moving up this emotional scale to feel that beautiful expansion. And you stretch your arms out to the side and you say, I am open to all that is good. And take a deep breath in and out and let it go. And then check in with yourself every single day. Ask yourself, how's my spirit today? And if the answer is that it's not good, or it's sad, or it's lonely, or it's depressed, ask yourself, what can I do to start shifting my vibration up on this emotional scale? How do I get from depression to maybe one of anger, and then to one of boredom, and then to one of optimism? How do I move my way up? And there's a lot of things that you can do to help shift that. You can think about something, a beautiful place that you visited. You can go on a little walk outside. If you're near a pet, you can pet your dog or cat and spend a little time with them. You can make yourself a cup of tea and just sit for a few minutes in the quiet and enjoy your cup of tea. There's a lot of little things in your life that are going to help you feel more expansive and slowly shift you out of that mindset of maybe not so great to feeling slightly better to slightly better to slightly better. That is how you create this life of optimal health. That is how you begin to make changes. And that is what I'm teaching in my group, my health coaching group, my women. I'm teaching you little habit changes. But I think what's gotten lost along the way is, yes, these habit changes are all amazing. Why are we doing these things? These are setting the foundation to feel good. You're creating this routine that makes you feel good in your body. You're setting yourself up every morning when you get out of bed. I'm going to have an amazing fucking day, and I'm going to be expansive, and I'm going to hold my arms out and say, I'm open to all that is good. And then I'm going to go about my morning routine, doing the things that make me feel great. And with each step, I get out of bed, I set the intention, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have an amazing, beautiful day. And then as I go to brush my teeth, I'm going to get ready with joy and pleasure, and I'm going to do it efficiently. And let me tell you, you're going to get ready faster than you normally do, and you're going to do it feeling good in your body. And even as you move into something like getting into the car to go to the office, you're going to set the intention to get there safely, to drive with joy and ease. You're going to set the intention for all the things you want to attract into your life. You want to get there in a very efficient, timely manner, and you want to be very safe, and you want to be joyous, and you want traffic to be light, and you're just envisioning every light changing for you in the best of ways, and you're envisioning this expansive freeway, and you're noticing the beauty around you. Maybe the sun's out and you're noticing the trees, and you become present in that moment. So you're setting your intention with each step of your day. And then as you arrive in the office, maybe you pull in the parking lot, and I used to have this feeling of doom when I pulled in the parking lot. So all of a sudden I need to shift that, right? So I'm not going to let that doom feeling come in. And if I feel it coming in, I'm going to stop and take some deep breaths and ask myself, well, what do I need here? And maybe that means taking a little longer walk into the office. Maybe it just means looking up at the trees and looking at the birds and breathing the fresh air. Or maybe it means you don't rush to your desk right away. Maybe put your things down and go get your breakfast in the morning, or go get your tea, and take a few minutes before getting into your day. And then as you move through your day, before the big meeting, you take some moments to meditate and breathe and envision this beautiful day as you want it to unfold. This big meeting or presentation, you envision it unfolding exactly as you want it to go. And you ask for help outside of yourself. And that's what helps me probably the most in my life, is setting these intentions. And anytime I feel that fear creep in, I ask for help. And for me, that's my angels and guides. For you, it could be your higher self, your inner spirit. It could be ancestors. It could be animal spirit guides. I ask for help of different guides at different times. And it doesn't matter what you believe. It's about giving over those fears to something greater than you, greater than the mind. So even if that's your soul and your spirit, that's the true center of you. That is your amazing, beautiful soul. And that is where we want to lead from, not the brain. The brain is there to help guide us. The brain is there to integrate thoughts. It's there to help us get from A to B, but it's not there to tell us what to do. It's not the essence. The essence is in your soul and in your heart center. And so when you're lost and looking for direction in your path, you have to get still and clear and shift your vibration and come to the space of expansion. And if you're feeling contracted, you're going to know, because your shoulders round forward, you feel heavy, you feel that little twinge of fear. It's not necessarily excitement fear, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, that sounds terrible. Don't let me do this. That's that little inner critic in your brain working. That's who we don't want to necessarily listen to. We can say, thank you. I see you. I hear you. I appreciate you trying to keep me safe. And then you say, what do I really want? What does my soul want? What does my spirit want? And you just breathe into that. And there's a million different steps you can do. And I'm going to share one more thing today. It'll be a short podcast today, but something I've been doing in addition to this sort of intention setting throughout my entire day. And I do this throughout the day. And I'll notice when I fall off sometimes, right? But if you can keep that intention setting going with each segment of your day, and you might have 50 segments in a day, that's really going to help you stay present, and you're going to feel much more joyful, and you're going to be able to keep that vibration high. And so every morning for the last few weeks before I've gotten out of bed, It's a pseudo meditation. So I'm laying in bed, I'm awake, and I just start to feel into something that makes me feel really, really good. I begin to feel into my heart space, and I visualize myself traveling somewhere that I want to travel. Perhaps it's the beach, perhaps it's somewhere in Europe, but whatever comes into my mind that day. And then I make it really specific. Like, what clothes am I wearing? Oh, I'm wearing that beautiful outfit I saw online, and I'm flowing and it's sunny. And what time of day is it? And what is the temperature like? What is the humidity in the air like? What sounds are around me? What smells? What tastes? Who am I with? Am I having a conversation? And just taking 5 minutes or even less. And sometimes I lay there for 15, no lie, because sometimes I'm so in the moment, it feels great. But if you start to come out of that moment and bring in all this random stuff, just step out of the space. But you're staying there and you're just feeling this amazing feeling of like, yes, I'm in this beautiful place. I'm having a wonderful conversation with this amazing person, and maybe your dog is with you and you're smelling all the good food around you, let's say, and you're walking and enjoying the sunset, and the air is just an amazing kind of warm breeze. And if, let's say, you're in Hawaii and you're on the beach walking on the sun and seeing the sunset, and you've got all this beautiful visions, and you're hearing the birds, and you're even tasting the salty air. And then you start to feel really, really good. And then I get out of bed. And sometimes I'll stop and visualize my day too, depending. But when I'm at that height of I feel so amazing, I'm at the height of this emotional scale of love expansion, I'm feeling empowered, I'm feeling like all my dreams are manifesting. This beautiful life, these travel plans I want to take with my husband are happening, or this beach house I want to be in, or even if it's just your day and you're like, I am envisioning the best day possible. I am seeing myself going to work and having everything work out for me, and just trying to stay in that beautiful space. And it's authentic, right? It's not this false positivity, but it's this authentic, expansive state, and you're ready to extend your arms out and get out of bed and just welcome in the day. That's the feeling that you want to bring in, because that's the feeling of what's going to attract everything you want to you, including optimal health. Because you're starting with your mind, and you're starting your day by putting your mind in a state of optimal health. And if it is something, let's say you've got an autoimmune disorder, you're envisioning your body repairing that disorder perhaps. And you feel so good. Say you have, joint pain like I did. And you're envisioning your hands moving freely, and then all the things that your hands can do without joint pain, or all the things your body can do when the pain is gone and maybe your neck hurts. And when that's released, what can you do? Maybe you're moving more, you're dancing, you're singing, you're finding yourself in these beautiful, expansive moments. That, my friend, is being selfish. And that is the key to optimal health. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you want to know a little bit more about me, please head on over to my Linktree. It's linktree.ee/litlotus, or my website is litlotus.me. And you can find all my offerings. I do one-on-one as well as group coaching. I have weekly yoga classes on Insight Timer, as well as meditations on there. I do workshops locally, and I'm trying to put a few more out there online as well, so people can join me from all over the country. But please check out what I offer and see if it interests you. And this is the kind of work that I am bringing into my business. So I've been really focusing on Ayurveda, which I think is a very important piece of it. But as I continue to develop and evolve my business, it feels like this work, this mindset work, this helping people to get to this space of expansion and openness is where everything else can manifest. Whether it's a good relationship, whether it is healthy eating, whether it is repairing your body, bringing in money, living your dream life, pursuing your dharma, figuring out what your dharma is, all of that starts here. All of it. All right, I hope you have an amazing, wonderful day, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.